Welcome to
Grade Center 1, 2, 3.
In these videos, I will show you everything you need to know to design and set up Grade Center efficiently in 3 steps. I'll be moving along quickly, but you can replay areas where you need reinforcement. This video is step 3. So, in the previous 2 videos, steps 1 and 2, we have designed our assessment strategy. We have determined and created unnecessary categories based on that strategy design. And we have created our column and category associations. What possibly could be left? Yep. We need to weight our columns and our categories according to our assessment strategy. This is step 3. This is where the rubber meets the road in Blackboard Grade Center. And in Grade Center 1, 2, 3, this will be the aha moment. Besides being an 80s one-hit wonder group with a catchy tune, this aha moment is where you will understand why we have done what we have done to this point. So, in full Grade Center, we will access this weighted grade column. I have given you a weighted grade column in your shells, but for the record, weighted grade columns are created right here. But we do not need to do that. Rather, we will just edit the existing weighted grade column via Edit Column Information. This column is currently called Weighted Total. In the courses that I teach, I actually changed this to Grade to Date. You can call it what you wish. However, Grade to Date emphasizes to your students that their current individual grade is just a snapshot at this time in the semester. It is good practice to remind your students that the grade they see at any point is based on your established weighting and does not reflect, for instance, more heavily weighted items later in the term. As I mentioned before, the percentage is commonly used for the primary display that you and students see. Now, here is where it is quite useful for you to set the secondary display to letter. It's just nice to know where your students stand, letter-wise, without having to check the schema constantly. And remember, students do not see the secondary display. And scrolling down, we finally get to the area where we will be implementing our assessment strategy. In this box, we will be placing our various assessment areas based on our original strategy. The percentages will add up to 100%, of course. This area ultimately tells Grade Center how to weight all the separate columns. We can place individual columns into this area if that portion of the grade is only based on that one column. For instance, midterm. Our assessment strategy indicates that this one column will be 20%. But what about our categories that are spread across multiple columns? For that, we have to access our categories from this box. Let's take the assignment category, and we'll call that 30% according to our strategy. Notice that Grade Center is keeping track of our total percentage as we move toward 100%. Also notice that the category area has more selections than the column area, simply because Blackboard offers the instructor options when dealing with all of the columns within that category. Almost always, instructors keep it simple by weighting all columns equally within that category. If you do want them not weighted equally, you need to set the point value in each column within that category differently, and then select proportional. As you know, we have been using 100 points consistently. You also have the option of using highest and lowest grades or values. If I wanted to drop the 2 lowest grades, I would place 2 in this field. So let's place in the rest of our columns and categories. Now submit, and we are done. Sort of. A few other useful things. You need to check what I call the dashboard of Grade Center, and that is Manage Column Organization. In one view, you can see all of your columns and their associated categories. This is a great way to check the Grade Center is set the way you expect. Very important so that calculations will be performed as desired. In here, you can change categories and you can hide or unhide columns, which you may have hidden from your view in Full Grade Center. Additionally, you can reorder columns so that they present appropriately for both you in Grade Center and students in My Grades. And speaking of My Grades, it is always a good idea when you have finished setting up Grade Center to enter Student Preview and select My Grades to see how it looks from the student perspective. And sliding columns into the frozen area will keep those columns continually visible in Full Grade Center as you scroll through the columns. Let's go back to Full Grade Center. Notice how the weighted column remains visible as we scroll through the other columns. Now, here's the cool thing. Even though our Grade Center is only partially completed, because remember this graphic from the Step 1 video? The numbers in parentheses represent the total number of columns or graded items we will be using. And as we create additional assignments, quizzes, projects, and critiques, the appropriate category will be associated with each column either manually or automatically, depending on how the column is created. The Grade Center weighted total column will continually calculate the running total regardless of how many of these columns have been created or need to be created through the term. That's the magic of categories. And finally, I would recommend periodically downloading your Full Grade Center as an Excel file by clicking Working Offline. That allows you to work in Excel and then re-upload if you like, but I think more importantly, it is useful as a backup of all existing grades to date by just saving the Excel file. So with that, this completes Grade Center 1, 2, 3, the Epic Trilogy. We have 1. Determined our assessment strategy and necessary categories. 2. We have set up column and category associations. And 3. We covered weighting our columns and categories according to our original assessment strategy. And please contact me if you have comments or questions. Happy grading!